What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Arena of Valor video, and today we will be taking a look at the newest patch notes once again. Now, if you guys didn't know, the patch notes that I uploaded 2 weeks ago, it actually was updated today, but they added some additional changes. I don't know why they delayed it so long. Maybe they wanted to delay it for these additional changes. But yeah, there is some quick little changes, so I thought I would make a little, as always, a patch rundown video. So we will go straight into the balance changes. Zill is receiving a pretty nice little buff, although I am a little bit confused. They are buffing his mana costs by a lot. Skill 1 Windblade mana is going to be reduced from 65, basically 15 at every rank. Skill 2 Windshift, the jump, is going to be reduced from 70 to 120 at the max level to 60 at all levels, okay? Which is gonna be interesting because you might try to max S2 first now, but this is only talking about one playstyle, which I will tell you in a bit. Again, they're reducing the cooldown on the second ability as well from 12.5 on the first rank to 10 seconds at all ranks. In the end, it is 10 seconds, so they're buffing the early game if you don't max the S2. And then they're also buffing his Tornado. Again, just the mana cost is getting reduced basically by 20 and 30 at the last rank. Now, the interesting thing is, right, you're a jungler, right? They're basically saying here they don't want him to be over-reliant on blue buff, which is cool, but you are the jungler. You most of the time will have blue buff. I actually don't like Zill in lanes. You can play him mid, you can play him side lane, but it's kind of janky. However, it was always janky because of the mana costs, okay? So now you might be able to do it. And now about mid lane, it's kind of awkward still because you have to jump into the wave to clear it, which is not really that good because you will just get poked. But in the side lane, as long as you're not playing against, I would say, Yena, I think even Florentino you can kind of beat if you outplay him a little bit. It is actually not all that bad, so definitely be on the lookout for a side lane Zill video from me. I think you can take Purify or Execute, both are great choices for him. And yeah, we will definitely try it. As I said, you might want to max S2 because of the very cheap mana cost, although it kind of is counterintuitive with the cooldown though. So I will test it out a little bit, and as per usual, I will show you good little juicy Shurko style troll build. It's not a troll build, guys, come on, stop bullying me. There's someone on Instagram made a meme about me that I always troll. Come on, man, stop bullying me, guys. Anyway, the next change is gonna be Tara. They're buffing her a little bit. I think she is not that good, to say the least. I might even go as far and say she's absolutely garbage, guys, okay? Let's be real. They are buffing her passive. 5%, whenever she uses a skill, she uses 5% of current health. It is now 4%, which is a nice little change, but it's not too much. And then the same for ultimate, from 10% to 8% of health usage. She's gonna be a little bit tankier, but I feel like she's just that tank that in a marksman meta still dies very fast to something like a Landor or Cathany or stuff like that, while not dealing enough damage and having no CC except for the slow on the first ability to be enough of a threat. So I think she has more issues, but we might try her and see how it goes. She's not absolutely garbage, but you know, not the best. Anyway, finally they are nerfing D-Rock even further. I think this hero is still absolutely broken, but they're going in the right direction here. They're nerfing the absurd range of his second ability by 1 meter. Yeah, it is gonna be, instead of this, it's gonna be a little bit like this, okay guys? What can I say? We'll see it in game, but I've seen him already in game, and it seems like he's still definitely really strong, still an S tier mage, but you know, sometimes it's good to just take away a little bit of power instead of just completely nerfing them to the ground. So I agree with this. This is a good change so far, definitely step in the right direction. Now moving on to Alice, this might confuse some of you guys, but Alice is actually one of the strongest supports in higher ranks, just because she just provides so much utility to the team. The S2 just provides so much rotation ability to her teammates and stuff like that. And they are going to be nerfing her late game. but preserving the same early game strength, which is good. She isn't that strong early game. She is an absolute monster in the late game. They're nerfing the ultimate. Although, listen guys, this is not too bad of a change, but at the same time, you have Zip. You have Kha'Zix, which is still probably stronger than Alice, let's be real. And there's a lot of heroes, okay? There's a lot of very strong supports. And I don't know if she really deserved this nerf. Rui was just released, and in my opinion, Rui is almost like Alice, but just better. It's a ranged support that throws her abilities, has CC, and she has a teleport, okay? She doesn't have as strong of a slow and huge silence on her ult, but she has teleports, which is arguably better. So yeah, kind of confusing, but it's okay. It's okay, guys. Magic defense reduction from 30, 40, 50 to 30% at all levels. Again, not nerfing the early game, just nerfing the late game. And cooldown, again, early game even buffed from 35 seconds to 30, but late game it is 25 seconds. On the previous patch, it's going to be 30 seconds on the new patch. And yeah, what can I say? We'll see. I personally don't think Alice was like a super annoying broken hero. There's a Landor, there's Pain, there's, you know, there's a lot of heroes, okay, that should be nerfed, and this is a little bit confusing. Now finally, a hero that has to be nerfed, which is Keera, Nightingale. Beautiful little suffix to her name there. Skill 1, Umbra Dream, is getting nerfed from... Actually, it's interesting, okay? They're stating here that she has too strong of a late game. She's absolutely broken late game, let's be real. She completely one-shots anything. But her early game isn't too strong, which is true, right? A Keera without her level 4 is not that strong. She's not going to do a ton of damage. You can kill her very easily. A Keera level 4 becomes pretty strong because if she uses her ult properly, she can reset her abilities and use them twice. But at the same time, she doesn't do enough damage yet. She can't one-shot you properly, level 4. She has to really use both her everything, like both her abilities twice with the ultimate. And even then it gets very close. She still has to throw in a couple other attacks. And yeah, so I don't think her early game is problematic, but her late game is very problematic. So what they say, instead of nerfing her late game, they decided to nerf her early game further. So what that is gonna do, that might seem very stupid to some of you guys, but I kind of agree with it to a certain extent. I'm not sure how well it works in a mobile MOBA, because mobile MOBA are very focused about early game, because the game time is so short. So if you snowball early, you can probably end the game. But in PC MOBAs that take a little bit longer, like League of Legends, you see that often, that they nerf something that is too strong late game, they nerf it early game. So it's still the same strength late game, because a lot of people enjoy that, and it's really cool to have a very impossible to beat late game hero. But they make you really deserve it if you reach that late game, okay? Because you have to play very well to not fall behind the early game. And that's what they're trying to do here. Slowdown from 25% on her first ability goes to 35% late game. So they're even buffing the late game on that specific portion, but 10% early game, okay? That is ridiculous, okay? Let's say this doesn't matter, okay? This 10% doesn't matter because you're fighting the jungle. 15%, that does matter, okay? Because level 4, you have 2 points in this ability. So you have a 15% slow. That is pretty much nothing. And then you have a 20% slow at level 5, okay? So that is still pretty much nothing. And then it's already mid-game. And then you get a 25-30%. And then you're back to the old business. And then 35 in the late game, mid and late game. And then you feel a little bit more powerful. But at the same time, the slowdown really doesn't matter too much to her kit, I think. But it's a nice little slap on the wrist. The more important thing is the cooldown increase from 4 to 5 seconds. Now, what this is basically going to do, first and foremost, is just going to nerf her first clear a little bit. Because even though she isn't that strong early game, she still has a pretty decent first clear, because she just has so much damage in her first ability. So that nerf is actually doing a lot, I think. It's gonna delay her first clear by a couple seconds. Listen, I'm not a jungler, but let's say 3 seconds, okay? Let's just say something so I can seem smart. It's gonna be 3.2 seconds longer of a clear, so she will gank you 3.2 seconds later, okay? Guys, it is based on actual math, okay? Quick maths. Anyway, now let's say, yeah, this is a pretty decent nerf, right? Because now she's even gonna gank you later and her early game is even more gimped. Maybe some other junglers are gonna be able to invade her after they do 2 buffs because she will be too slow, stuff like that, okay? But of course late game she's still gonna be absolutely broken. I think this hero is still gonna be really broken because even if you nerf her early game a little bit, this is not enough. If they nerfed this to like 6 or 7 seconds, that would have been huge. That would have been like, I would be like, okay dude, you don't have to ban her, you ban Elandor instead. But nowadays it's still like, sometimes you ban Elandor, sometimes you ban her. Anyway, that is already it. It was a pretty small change. Again, I will be linking the full patch notes by the boy here in the comments below, so check them out if you want to read them yourself at your own pace. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helped you a little bit. And yeah, if it did, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys the next time. Peace out, boys. Bye-bye.